Welcome to Truth Be Told About Going Wild. I'm your host, Robert Hensley, and this is the podcast inspired by the principles of personal rewilding. Happy spring. I wanted to talk a little bit today about grounding. This is something that we hear a lot about. It's a buzzword in the health and wellness community. It's also something you may hear a lot about in meditative practices. And so I thought, because a lot of people seek it out in the springtime, right, that this would be a great time for us to discuss what is grounding, how does it work, and how can you get the benefits of being grounded. So let's begin. What is grounding? Grounding is the practice of reconnecting the body and the mind with the present moment. Sometimes that happens through physical contact with the earth or simply through focused awareness. This is also sometimes called earthing. Because it does sometimes, again, require that physical contact with the earth. Grounding, it sits in this intersection between wellness, mindfulness, and alternative health. It has gained a lot of popularity among people who are looking to reduce stress and improve just their overall sense of well-being. At its core, grounding really refers to stabilizing our mental and physical state. Okay, the two main interpretations of that is physical grounding, right, or earthing, and that it requires direct contact with the earth, such as walking barefoot on the grass or in the soil, on the sand. And the other is psychological grounding, which are those techniques that are used to really anchor our attention in the present moment. And those exercises are usually done to manage anxiety or overwhelming emotions. Now, both of those approaches aim to reduce stress and restore a sense of balance. I'm sure that you've seen online or you've heard about on different radio stations or podcasts grounding products and their perceived benefits. So there's this great market that's emerged with grounding products that are designed to simulate contact with earth indoors. Things like grounding mats that you can walk on or that you can sleep on. There are grounding sheets and pillowcases that contain silver threads. Some of those you actually kind of plug into a grounded outlet, or sometimes they're connected to a rod that is actually placed in the earth, and the frequencies and the energy from the earth travel through the wires into those sheets and pillowcases. Sometimes rather than a sheet or a pillowcase, it's actually a wristband or a patch that you wear that is connected to the grounding wires. And users say that they have improved sleep quality, reduced inflammation and pain, lower stress levels, better mood, and higher energy. It is important to note that as far as scientific evidence goes, it is still very limited and mixed. Some small studies suggest that the potential effects, such as changes in cortisol levels, mainstream medicine really has not fully validated most of the claims that are connected to earthing or grounding. But for many people, the benefits seem real. So whether that is a placebo effect or just a benefit of general relaxation, if it works for you, fantastic. It might not work for everyone, right? And that goes the same for meditation, grounding meditation. It's a simple and accessible way to feel more centered without any equipment, right? And it's commonly used in mindfulness and therapeutic settings. One of my favorite grounding meditations looks a little like this. We sit comfortably in a chair. We're seated. Posture's nice and straight. Our shoulders are nice and loose. We have our feet flat on the floor. We close our eyes or we soften our gaze. Focus on our breathing, slow and steady inhales and exhales. And then we bring our attention to the physical setting. We pay attention to gravity, the weight of our body on the chair, our feet on the floor. And then we begin to visualize, right? Imagine that there are these tiny white hairs, these roots that begin to grow out of our feet and into the floor and through the floor down into the ground, and they're going deeper and they spread out wide, right? And we can feel that energy moving through the roots back up into our bodies. And as we are feeling that energy, we visualize that energy moving up our spines, and kind of it begins to move our arms, and we begin to lift our arms, and our arms stretch above our heads up and out, and we can feel the tingle in our fingers as leaves and branches begin to sprout, and we are a tree. We are grounded, we are connected to the earth, we are receiving nourishment from the earth itself. We are growing into this tall, beautiful tree. And once we feel that we have truly connected with that sensation, then very slowly we begin to focus just on our exhales. And as we exhale, slowly our branches come back into our fingers. Our arms come back down to our side to lay in our lap. The energy begins to move back down our spine, back down our legs, and into the roots. And we are giving all of that energy back with gratitude. And then very slowly, those roots begin to recede and come back into our feet. And then once we feel that we have fully disengaged from the earth, then we take a moment just to kind of come back to center ourselves. We can do that by wiggling our toes and moving our feet, flexing our knees, maybe rocking our hips a little bit, rolling our shoulders, rolling our head from side to side, anything to bring us back into our body, right? That is a rooted grounding meditation, which I enjoy so much. Another popular method, which I use in just about every workshop I teach, which is sensory activation. It's also known as the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. And it simply has you sitting or standing or laying on the floor or ground, but it asks you to activate each of your five senses. And then you open your eyes and you look around and you catalog 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. And what that does is that really helps to interrupt any of the spiraling thoughts, that internal chatter. It helps bring us back into the present moment. It helps us to really be very grounded and in the moment, be very mindful. Right. So those are 2 techniques that I really like. I did learn a new meditation a week or so ago. I was with Dr. Barry Curzon, who is the physician to the Dalai Lama. And I was in my stocking feet, walking on one of the most famous stone floors in the world, which was an experience. But this walking meditation, this Buddhist meditation, really, again, focuses our attention and brings us back into the present moment by just being aware of how our feet connect to the ground with each and every slow, small step we take. It was one of the most grounding meditations that I've been involved with. It was really very beautiful. So to wrap this up a little bit, so grounding, whether we are doing that through direct contact with nature, or whether you've decided to bring in specialized products so that you can feel that at home, or if it's a meditation practice, grounding appeals to one simple idea, right? And that is connecting with the present moment and how that improves how we feel, right? So while the physical health claims of grounding products, are under a little bit of scientific scrutiny, grounding as a mindfulness practice is widely recognized as a helpful tool for managing stress and enhancing our mental clarity. If you're curious about grounding, start with something simple. right? Step outside, throw your shoes off, walk around in a nice little circle, nice and slow, focus on your breathing, and just feel how your feet connect with the grass, with the earth. Stay in the moment for a couple of moments and just see how that feels. If you feel the way that I think that you will feel, you're going to want to do it again. Thanks so much for listening. Remember, there are 3 opportunities each week for new content from the Truth Be Told family of podcasts on the Club Paranormal channel on YouTube. Tony Sweet on Fridays with the original Truth Be Told. Wednesdays, Bonnie Burkert with Truth Be Told Transformation. And of course, me, Truth Be Told about going wild every Monday. And each of those shows goes live at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern on their specific day. If you'd like to know more about what I'm doing with personal rewilding and helping people rekindle their relationship to nature, you can check out my website. That is www.rhnaturereconnect.com. Again, that's www.rhnaturereconnect.com. Or if you'd like to really kind of delve in a little deeper than just visiting the website, you can always join Personal Rewilding with Robert Hensley. It's a community on Patreon, and you can join for free, or you can step up and subscribe for $15 a month to the exclusive Going Wild tier, where you'll get lots of exclusive content, discounts to workshops, and access to monthly online meditation sessions. So, again, thanks for listening, and until next time.